Happy Sunday. Today we're talking about week 30 that ended on Saturday, July 31st of 2021. We had a great week. I hope you did too. On Sunday, we went to a barbecue with some friends. That was a great time. Everybody had a blast playing volleyball. It was a good time for everyone. On Monday, I got curious about who invented the very first battery. We use a lot of batteries and things. I found out it was in 1800 when Alessandro Volta created the very first battery. He wasn't quite sure why it worked the way that it did, and in fact, some of his guesses were completely wrong. He didn't realize that there was a chemical reaction going on. And in fact, it wasn't for another 34 years that Michael Faraday proved that it was a chemical reaction that was taking place. After that, they had batteries that were chemical batteries. Those were used a lot in the telegraph system, but they were very fragile and sometimes very dangerous. It wasn't until near the end of the 1800s when they finally came up with the technology that led to our dry cell batteries like these today. So it was interesting to see the history there. On Tuesday, I came across a Facebook post that really touched my heart. It was about an anthropologist who went to this tribe, and the story of him telling all of these children in the tribe that there was a basket of fruit under this tree, and that the first one who got there could have all of it to themselves. And when he told them to go, he was surprised to see that they didn't race to see who could get there first, but instead they all went arm in arm to it and shared the whole thing. And when he asked them why they did that, their response was, in their language, the word was, let me see if I get this right, Ubuntu, which is translated, I am because we are. And that was something deep rooted in their tribe, that there's no point in one person having everything when everybody else ends up miserable, that they need to take care of each other. And that really touched me, because if more people groups had that type of philosophy, there'd be a whole lot less problems between people. On Wednesday, Jill and I watched another episode of The Movies That Made Us. And this one was on Forrest Gump, which is a movie that we've always loved. But I didn't realize how much went into that movie, how the studio tried to shut it down several times. And both Robert Zemeckis and Tom Hanks gave up their salaries essentially for participation points in the movie, which I guess is like percentage of the box office or something like that, because they saw the vision of what this movie was going to be, even though it was going to cost $55 million to produce. And of course, they were absolutely right, and they ended up making a lot more than their original salary. It was fascinating to me to see the challenges that they had to get that movie produced. Even the amazing soundtrack. They told the studio that they wanted these particular songs, and the studio said, we can't afford all those songs. There were some 35 different songs that had been hits on the chart that they wanted to put in the movie, and the only way they got them in there is that they had the editor put together a cut of the movie with all the songs in there, and when the studio saw that, they realized they couldn't do the movie without those songs. So they paid what it took to get them in the soundtrack, and the end result was an amazing soundtrack. Thursday morning, I had a little bit of a disappointment. I woke up thinking it was Friday. Oh well. On Friday, I was thinking more about how I love watching videos of really cool transformations. Whether it's an art piece that goes from an empty canvas to a finished painting, something that's being restored, or just simple, fun things to look at that are surprising. So I went into YouTube and I typed in amazing transformation. All I found were makeovers, weight loss stuff, and these are all fascinating, but it wasn't what I was looking for. I wanted something artistic. Then I came across this guy's channel. What is his name? Well, I'll link it down below. His channel is all dedicated to the type of 3D trick art, so that if you look at it from a certain angle, it looks like something is 3D on the page. The really cool thing about his stuff is it's all done in tutorial style, so he shows you exactly what he does in order to draw it, make it look exactly like he does in the finished product. So I sat down and I tried one of his this week, which was just this simple ladder one, and that's what it looks like when it's flat. But when you get at it at the right angle, I'll put a video in here of when I got it at the right angle. It looks like the ladder is 3D and it has a shadow of itself behind. His, of course, looks much better than mine because it's my first attempt, but I sure had a lot of fun trying. Friday night, Zach took Ben to a Springfield Cardinals professional baseball game. The cool thing about that is Ben loves baseball, and Zach knew that, and when Zach was given free ticket, his first choice of who to take was his brother Ben. And of course, they had a blast. I'm just so proud of him for investing in that memory with his brother. Saturday, yesterday, was the last day of July, so goodbye July and hello August. Last night we went out and sang some karaoke. Some friends of ours are in town from Kansas City, which is about 3.5 hours away or so. We hadn't seen them in quite some time, so we had a blast. Of course, Jill and I sang Love Shack again. And our somewhat new song we've been doing, the one by Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty, called You're the Reason Our Kids Are Ugly. Sounds like not a good song, but it's really hilarious. It's very lighthearted and it gets people laughing. Well, that wraps up week 30 of 2021. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.